And it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to At The Track Live. I am Coach James. I am the creator of and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics, which is a science program that uses Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related topics, including but not limited to friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force. After we have covered all of these topics and conducted experiments to drive home the ideas, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything they've learned in the class. After they've selected their cars, they weigh their cars, they test the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made from, all of the information they can observe. They enter that into a spreadsheet, and then the only thing left to do is set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip and race the cars. The students race the cars, and they observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they pick that same car again? Or would they make a different choice based on everything that they have observed? In the end, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, all about aerodynamics, all you have to do is go to our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, aaAerodynamics there as well. And all the information you need to contact me is in the bio, and we can discuss how to bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not all about aerodynamics. This is all about aerodynamics presents At The Track Live. So what is At The Track Live? Well, before I can bring in all those cars for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have them organized and cataloged and in the right places, so that when I bring the cars in for the students to use, they use the cars, I can put them right back in the exact right place, have them ready to go for the next group. But to do that, I have to do some work on the back end, and I have all kinds of Hot Wheels cars in storage that I haven't had a chance to enter into the fleet, so they're not available for the students to use yet. And At The Track Live gives me that opportunity to go into storage, grab some of those cars, crack them open, get my picture, get a short video, assign the cars a number, enter them into the spreadsheet, and make them available. Every week we introduce about 5 or 6 new cars, but wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, and when you get there, you're going to see 3 links. You're going to see one, the YouTube stream link, the Twitch stream link, which you don't need because you're already here. But the third link is the one that's most important. It is the one that says choose your car. When you click on that link, you will be taken to this page. And on this page, you will find all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics At The Track Live fleet, listed, numbered, and ready to be selected. We recently broke this page up into multiple pages. So it is now, there are 6 pages. There's about 200 cars per page. And we are up to, how many cars do we have in the fleet right now? 134 cars are currently, 1,034 cars are currently in the fleet. So if you scroll through, you will see all of the cars that we have. We have cars from the 70s, 80s, 90s. The 2000s, we have some that were released pretty recently in the last few months. We have trucks, we have character cars, we have race cars, station wagons, we have any type. We have fire trucks, buses, tanks. We have cars that are designed after airplanes, spaceships, any kind of Hot Wheels car you can imagine. We have, if we don't have that exact car, we have some version of the car, and they're all listed and waiting here. All you have to do, scroll through and find it. So let's say you decide you think the car that you want to go with, because what you're trying to do is find a car faster than the cars I introduce and faster than the cars that other people have selected. So if you decide you're going to go with this Seared Tuner, this one, car number 329 right here. You decide the Seared Tuner is the car for you. That's the car that you want to pick. Then all you have to do is you can click on it and see a close-up picture and see the reflection in the mirror to see if it's plastic on metal, metal on metal, or metal on plastic. Once you do that, you take the number, in this case 329, you drop that in the chat, and then I will pull that car and you will be entered into today's tournament. And in today's tournament, you're going to go up against all of the cars that I introduced. And we have a couple of cars that have been picked by viewers. Hey, Christopher is one of the people who has picked a car, has one ready to go. And the car that comes out on top in today's tournament on our 1/64 scale quarter-mile drag strip will take on our fastest in fleet car. And our fastest in fleet car is and has been this one. It is the BlitzSpeeder. And the BlitzSpeeder has been our champion in the past, but it has had a resurgence because this is the fourth go-round as champion for the BlitzSpeeder. And as a matter of fact, Christopher brought the BlitzSpeeder back about a month ago, and the BlitzSpeeder won its race and has not had really any close races in that time. Now, it's the fourth time that the BlitzSpeeder has been champion, which means that there are 3 cars out there that have beaten it. And we know those 3 cars. The Gazella R beat it, the Dogfighter beat it, and I believe it was the Mercedes-Benz 500E also beat it. But the BlitzSpeeder has made its way back to the top, and we are now once again in that search to try and find a car that is faster than the BlitzSpeeder. So maybe we'll find that car today. I have some cars that could get the job done, but we never really know until we take the cars out on the track. And with the BlitzSpeeder, we know that it is even though it's lost a few races, it is the fastest car that we've had consistently on the track. And that really is been shown over the last, it's probably been about at least a year. Let's see. I would say a good year and a half, almost 2 years that the BlitzSpeeder has been in the mix as one of our fastest cars. And I don't expect that we're going to find, even if we find a car that beats the BlitzSpeeder will still remain one of the fastest cars that we've ever seen. And part of that, on Wednesdays, we have a program, Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, and we take these cars and we put them into the Funtech Labs 1/64 scale wind tunnel, known as the Winsible, and we're able to see the aerodynamic profiles of these cars, and we're able to see how much drag will impact these cars when they're on the track. We turn on the airflow and the smoke streams, and they flow over, under, and around the cars. And the BlitzSpeeder has the best aerodynamic profile of any car that we've put into the wind tunnel. Essentially, the design of this car, the air comes in, builds up at the front, but there's not much frontal area here, so it flows right up over the hood, and then this transition between the hood and the windshield is very minimal, so the air hits the hood, comes up to the windshield, gets to the roof line, and on most cars, at the roof line, that's where the air starts to break away from flowing along the body of the car. Not with the BlitzSpeeder. This design, the air comes up across the roof, and because there's no real drop-off on the roof, the air does flow right across the top and right back to this wing and off that wing, and there's no disruption to that airflow, and it's pretty much ideal. And we've only seen a couple of cars that have had aerodynamic profiles somewhat similar, but it's definitely the BlitzSpeeder is the car. That's the car to beat, and we will see if we can find a car to actually beat the BlitzSpeeder. So that's the challenge, and the question is, can we find that car today? We're going to find out. So first one, I bought, like, I'm trying to go just to the cars in storage, take those old cars, bring those out, and make sure that I'm cycling through the older cars that I purchased. But I go into the stores, I go down the aisle, I see the Hot Wheels cars, see something I like, pick it up. And so somehow, someway, I've ended up with this bag, a couple trips to Target, and I got some cars in there. And there was one in particular that I saw that I looked at it and thought, this car can hold its own with the BlitzSpeeder, just based on just the design of the car makes me think, I got the same feeling that I got when I saw the Gazella R and bought that, and it turns out that car beat the BlitzSpeeder. Well, we're going to see if this one can do it. It is the X-cceleron, and it is new for 2026. It is part of the exotic car series. It is a fantasy car, but let's see what it says on the back. The X-cceleron, born in 2025 in El Segundo, California, right down the street. Designer Hot Wheels. Behold the hypercar of tomorrow, featuring a 7.3-liter quad-turbo V12 hybrid engine, roaring with 2,025 horsepower and adjustable aerodynamic flaps for ultimate speed, agility, and top-tier performance. X-cceleron is going places very, very fast. All right, so it's funny because in the description it says it has adjustable aerodynamic flaps, but there is nothing adjustable on this car. But let's take a closer look, crack this open. The X-cceleron. Yeah, because I've mentioned that before, that I have been just sort of tinkering around with creating an app really it's just to allow for searches, and part of what I needed to do, the X-cceleron, first of all, is weighing in at 31.7 grams. The BlitzSpeeder is 32.4 grams. So let's go ahead and take a look at the X-cceleron, if I can get it on the plate. So yeah, when I was looking at or thinking about creating an app, really it's mainly just for the search function, because there is not one currently on the website. And the first thing that I had to do was break up the cars on the website, because when I had the 1,000 cars all listed, that was too much. Too many cars were listed, and it overwhelmed the program that I was using to create the app. So I broke those cars up, and I am going to revisit that and see if we can get that together. So it's kind of a side project that I am working on, but yeah, I'm working on it because I know that the search function is the biggest glaring kind of problem with the website. And Squarespace, the company that hosts the website, is not interested really in improving that. So it's been a few years, and I've talked to their support people and been on forums, and no. All right, so let's talk about the X-cceleron. The X-cceleron, now that I'm taking a closer look, I am seeing these openings here, which I don't know, when we put this in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, it will probably show that these are not helping as far as the drag. With the BlitzSpeeder, there's nothing on the BlitzSpeeder that interferes with the airflow at all. There's no little odds and ends and funny little openings, nothing like that. And if you get down to a really close race, some of those little differences are going to be the things that matter. We have, and I can just show you kind of right here. You see right there. It's not a lot, but this orange part is lifted up. And right there, that means that air can flow into that area. And if you have a really close race, sometimes the little things are going to make the difference. And we will find out. First of all, I don't know if this car is going to be fast. I just have an idea and a thought that it probably should be. But that's just a hunch, and we always take these cars to the track to actually find out and put our ideas to the test. Hey, Roughshod. Let's go ahead and zoom on in on this one. We are going to find out. Because if you come to on our track, it's all about the speed. I was watching. I found a channel that had Hot Wheels drag racing, and I was watching it. I hadn't seen it before, and it was cool. But the cars, for me, were just moving too slowly. My first Hot Wheels track was a drag racing track. It's the, I think it's called the Stow and Go thing. Came out in the 80s. And it was all about the speed of the cars. It wasn't a gravity track. It was a flat drag track. And I'm pretty sure that's why that's the direction that I went in when I created All About Aerodynamics. We could have done it with a gravity track, but with a gravity track, the cars just move so slowly. For me, it's not that it's not fun and interesting, and there's different things that you consider when you have a car on a gravity track. But for me, I want that speed. And so our track, we absolutely have the fastest Hot Wheels drag racing. And because the cars are moving so fast, aerodynamics is very important. I'm also seeing these openings right here, just above the wheels, and air will travel into those openings, and then the question becomes, like, what happens to the air then? If it gets trapped in there and can't easily escape, then it's going to work to slow the car down, and that's no good. And that's something that probably wouldn't come into play as much on a gravity track as it does on our track, where speed is everything, and the faster objects move through the air, the more drag has an impact. So any car that can reduce the impact of drag is going to be able to maintain more of its speed. Any car that does not reduce the impact of drag or increases the drag is going to have a problem. And we usually see that play out on our track at the back end when these cars start to slow down. So let me see. This is the manufacturing year is not listed, but I am pretty sure it's 2025, but I will look that up later just to be sure. So it's got a little bit of a, I don't know. When they make these fantasy cars, you can usually look at them and see, oh, okay, they took a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So kind of right at the front, I'm seeing a little bit of Corvette. Then toward the back end, I'm seeing, if you remember that Cadillac hypercar, that was one of my favorite cars of last year. I thought it would be faster, but it turns out it's pretty heavy car. But this back end kind of reminds me of that. It's kind of have this orange part, a little fighter jet situation going on there. So it's a cool car, and we're gonna see what it does on the track. That is the X-cceleron. That is the first car that is going in, and it's not very heavy. 31.1 grams is pretty good, pretty light. So we will see what happens with that car, the X-cceleron. That is the first car that is going in today, and just making an adjustment on the spreadsheet. All right, let's see what we've got. What else have we got? I pulled a bunch of cars out of storage, and we're gonna have to see if we already have these in the fleet or not. If we do have them in the fleet, then they will become prize cars. So, all right, first up is a 2013 Viper SRT, and we're going to check and see if we have one of these in the fleet already. I may have checked on this one last week. Let's see, 2013. We do not have any 2013s. Let me check 13, because sometimes these cars come out. We only have a 13 Ford Mustang. So we are good to go on this one. All right, 2013 SRT Viper. Let's go. All right, crack this open. All right, let's see what this car is weighing in at. The Viper is coming in at 31.4 grams, so pretty close to the X-cceleron. Here we go. The 2013 SRT Viper. Let's take a look. The Viper is coming. Here we go. So we have, this is pretty standard car. It's traditional in the sense that it doesn't have any of the little fantasy elements that we see on some of the other cars. So when we put this in the wind tunnel, we should get a pretty good idea about the aerodynamic profile. And what we usually see with regular cars, which this one, or real world cars, is that the aerodynamics tend not to be as good as they are on the fantasy cars, at least on when we put the cars in the wind tunnel. And part of that is because Hot Wheels does not necessarily scale these cars down with all of the features of the real world cars. And a lot of the features on the real world cars are designed to reduce drag and direct the airflow over, under, and around the car. When Hot Wheels is making these cars, that's not necessarily their biggest consideration. And so areas on, especially when we see the real world, the hypercars, the supercars, that the real world cars have openings to control that airflow, the Hot Wheels cars don't. They might have an opening, but it's not continuing all the way through to the back of the car, so it's not controlling the airflow. And on our track, like we just saw with the X-cceleron, what will ultimately happen is that air will get trapped in the interior of the car, and if it can't flow through, it's going to slow the car down. So This Dodge Viper, I'm sure that the real world car has different elements to improve that, the aerodynamics, reduce the drag, all of that. But this one just looks pretty plain, pretty standard. I like the racing stripes. They've got the little Dodge badge right on the front. They did a little something with the headlights. And I guess they ran out of momentum, time, something, because they did absolutely nothing on the back. And that's the thing. You didn't have a couple of dabs of paint for the tail lights or the license plate. I mean, the license plate, okay, maybe that's a bit much, but come on, at least put a tail light on there. Something. Why not use the same little stickers or whatever this is for the headlights? Just put that, throw something on the back. And that's the thing I don't understand with how these decisions get made at Mattel. How do they decide which cars are going to get what? Because the next car that I'm going to pull out, the attention to detail was significantly higher than it was on this one, where it feels like they got halfway through and then they just got tired and stopped. And nobody who looks at the back of the car. So that is the 2013 SRT Viper. There's not much to say about this car. I don't think there's anything too special about it, but maybe it performs well on the track. I don't expect it to be necessarily faster than the X-cceleron, but that X-cceleron with those different openings, that may slow it down. The thing this car does have going for it is, let's see, are the windows down? Yep, the windows are down, so that it's better for these cars when the windows are up or closed. Having the windows down, air can flow into the cabin, and there's nowhere for it to flow out, so that's not going to necessarily be helpful. So when you're considering cars and picking cars, I personally, if I'm picking a car, I'm going with a car with the windows closed. That's just me, based on what I've seen over the years racing these cars. This is 2012 for the manufacturing year, which is just another piece of data that I put into the spreadsheet, because after you race however many cars and the students track the winners, you might start to see trends. So maybe cars from 2006 are win more races. Well, then you can kind of narrow it down to say, okay, what is it that's different about these cars from this manufacturing year versus some others? So we have a 2013 Dodge Viper SRT, and we have the X-cceleron. Let's see what comes up next. We have the, let's see. This one, really nice, but I'm pretty sure we have it in the fleet already, because I remember the name. And this is the Automobili Pininfarina Battista. And actually, I saw this in real life. There's a famous car museum here in LA called the Peterson Automotive Museum, and they had one of these there. And I'm pretty sure I have a picture of it, but do I have it in the fleet? Let's see. I'm almost certain, but I do like this one. We have the Automobili Pininfarina Battista. It is car number 820. And therefore this one, even though this one's nice, let me switch over here. Remove this. This one, it's got the metal flake paint. They, unlike the Dodge, they actually put some color on the tail lights, a little bit of something for the license plate. It's a good looking car. But we already have one in the fleet, and we're not trying to have a duplicate situation. So, well, let me go ahead and take a look at it and see what the old one looks like. And now this is actually easier to navigate now that I've broken these pages up. 820. We are looking at right here. Automobili Pininfarina Battista. I like this blue one better, but we already have one in the fleet, so this is going to be a prize car. Some student is going to have the opportunity to select this car as their prize if they have good citizenship, answer questions, etc., etc. All right. Let's see. This is another one that I think we probably already have, the Mazda RX-3. This is part of the Japanese import series. And we're going to find out. Mazda RX-3, car number 655. So we have that would probably be in about here. Let's see, 655. Yep, right here. I like the white one. That's pretty cool. So another prize car. Let's see, what else do we have? We have a Porsche Taycan Turbo S right here. You can't see it because it's on the green screen, but you can trust me that there is a car here, but it is green. Let's see, do we have one in the fleet already? We have the Porsche that, oh wow, we have a lot of these. Porsche, we have an Outlaw, Carrera GTS, GT3, GT3 Cup, GT98, a Rally, Targa, 917LH, a Spider. We have three 918 Spiders. I think one of those is a Matchbox. We have a 935, a Carrera GT, a Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid Sport Turismo, and that is it. We do not have Taycan Turbo S. So now we do. And after I crack this open and move it to a different camera, you'll actually be able to see it. But here it is. Let's crack it open. All right. The weight of this car is 32.4 grams. So these cars are not, we're having some pretty, some light cars today. All, I think, within the 32 and 31 gram range, which is pretty good. As we look at this one, it is, kind of reminds me a bit of the Porsche, that wagon that Roughshod picked a couple of weeks ago that had the really excellent aerodynamic profile, and it is going to be car number 1036 in the fleet. We have 1036 cars. That's a number that I wasn't sure that we would necessarily get to. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it when first started, but here we are. This is the Porsche Taycan Turbo S. Nice. Okay. And aerodynamically, I mean, it looks similar to that wagon that Roughshod picked. So the only difference is that back end. When we put this in the wind tunnel, I'll be curious to know and see if this has as good an aerodynamic profile as that other car. It was one of the few real world cars that we put in the wind tunnel where the airflow stayed attached to the body of the car all the way to the end, and then it dropped off right at the tail. I don't know that with most real world cars scaled down for Hot Wheels, right around this area of the roof, the airflow starts to break away. And when that happens, you get a change in pressure that ultimately affects the car's forward momentum. It creates a pressure drag. And this is another car. So on this one, unlike the Dodge, they've got, get this in focus, they've got Porsche across the back. They've got the tail lights colored. They have the license plate, everything. They did a lot. They didn't just skip out. And maybe they spent more time on this car, didn't have enough time left over to finish up the Viper, but they did everything. Have the little Porsche badge right on the nose. Did the let me put it in focus. The headlights, everything is on point. Looks good. All right, let me get my still picture so that this car can be added to the website, added to the fleet. And it is got a nice metal flake paint job. Let's see what we've got here. Porsche Taycan. And I'm surprised that I have 3 918 Spiders. Usually I wouldn't, definitely try to avoid having duplicates, but triplicates, something seems off a bit, but it's okay. We will go with this one. The year it was manufactured, 2020, and that is our third car entered in today. Let's see, can I find a 2004 Mazda RX-8 Matchbox car. Matchbox cars are tricky because we haven't had good luck with those. They just aren't there's something about Matchbox cars. There's got to be some manufacturing difference. They're just not fast. They're not as fast as the Hot Wheels cars on our track, and it's been strange. We found a few. Every once in a while we'll find a Matchbox car that is impressive, but generally speaking, I don't know what it is. They're just not as fast as the Hot Wheels cars for some reason. All right, let's see what else we got in here. What did I pull out? We have the let's see. So we have this one, the 1968 Mazda Cosmos Sport. I am pretty sure we have one of these in there. I think it is red, but let me double check. 1968 Mazda Cosmos Sport. We have it. It's car number 782, prize car. Next up, well, here we go. We were just talking about Matchbox cars. Here's a 2021 Koenigsegg Gemera, and let's see if we've got one of these 2021 Koenigsegg Gemera, and this is a Matchbox. So I would think we wouldn't have one. We have a 2020 Koenigsegg Jesko, a 2021 Cadillac CT5V, And we do not have this car. So let me check 21, because sometimes these cars are just listed under that. Nope, we are good. So we're going to have, we were just talking about it. We spoke it into existence, this Matchbox car right here. It is the 2021 Koenigsegg Gemera. And we're going to crack this open. Take a look. Yeah, I will, I'll take a look, because the other thing is that I've got so many cars in storage that, especially if they're not, so for example, if it's a new car that I haven't, like, that's just out, then I can be sure, like, okay, I know that I don't have that car because it's just out and I haven't seen it. When we start talking about older cars, I don't know if I already have them in the in storage. So I wouldn't want you to waste waste your time and money sending a car, and then it turns out that I already have it in storage and just didn't remember buying it. This Koenigsegg is weighing in at 39.8, so that's already not a good sign for the Matchbox, that it is already heavier. So Matchbox cars don't perform as well historically on our track, and now you've got one that it's a good looking car. I will say that. They do Matchbox cars, when Mattel is making Matchbox cars, they don't skimp on the details. You're not going to have a Matchbox car like that Dodge where they just have a blank back on the back end and everything's just has just paint splattered across it. They do have attention to detail, but the cars aren't fast for whatever reason. Hopefully this one can change that, but it's coming in at a disadvantage, weighing 7-8 grams more than the cars that it's going up against, and it's a Matchbox car. So we're going to find out what it's going to do. Let's get this still picture first of this Koenigsegg Gemera. And there we go. We have that. And now I'll get the video. We'll get to take a look at this. I mean, the detail is really good. I like the color combination with the yellow, the metal flake, silver, dark gray paint. They did got the little tampos for the headlights. I like the grill. It's got a plastic grill. They didn't just slap paint all across there. It's a really good looking car. But looks are only part of the story on our track. The car needs to be fast. And I'm just saying, these cars typically, Matchbox, I don't know what it is. But hopefully this will be the exception. I mean, it's a good, the body lines. Now, there is a big, there's a lot of front end area. So that air is going to build up right at the front. But once it starts to flow over the top of the car, it's pretty smooth, pretty decent setup there. And I think this one might have a shot, maybe. But it's just coming in at such a disadvantage, being that much heavier than the other cars. And 7 grams it doesn't seem like a lot, but it can be, especially when you're a Matchbox car. 1,037. This is the 2021 Koenigsegg Koenigsegg Gemera. I think this is. There are a few Matchbox cars. Sometimes we put Matchbox cars out there, and they're kind of quirky. They're these old, odd cars that most likely most of us have never seen out on the road. For example, one of the last Matchbox cars we put out was this Opel Kadett Coupe. This one, which just a quirky little odd car, and it didn't do very well on the track. Look at that back end, that attention to detail. I like that. But sometimes we get Matchbox cars that actually legitimately have some potential, and I think this is one. I think that this car should, of the Matchbox cars, it's got a great aerodynamic profile, at least initially, the kind of initial look we're taking at it. And we'll see what it does on the track. Hopefully we can finally find that Matchbox car that breaks through and is better on the track than some of these others. So 2022 for the year, manufacturing year. All right, so we are looking pretty good. We've got the X-cceleron, the Dodge Viper SRT, we've got the Porsche Taycan, and we've got this Koenigsegg Gemera, this Matchbox car. And let's go ahead and see what else we have down here. All right. So let's see. We have this character car that I pulled out. This is the second Bugs Bunny themed car that we have. The first one, it was, I want to say it was more like a carrot shape. Let me see, which I can just look it up here, because I know that there's a Bugs Bunny car. I'm pretty sure it's different than this one, but I want to make sure. That is car number 781. Let's go ahead and take a look at that really quickly, just to double check and make sure it is not the same car. Car number, what did I say? 781. Oh, I need to go back one page. Car 781. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, okay, so this was a straight up, that one was when you say a character car, that is an absolute character car with a character. So I think we pretty much only have this car and there's the Black Panther car, which are the only ones in the fleet with this type, with the character sticking up out of the car. So this one didn't do too poorly, and I think I remember saying if it didn't have the character and that driver's compartment had like a shell over it, that car might actually be a tournament winner. But this one that we have right here is definitely more along the lines of a regular Hot Wheels car that they just added some touches on to work with the theme. So let's go ahead and crack open this Bugs Bunny car and see what's up, Doc. All right. This open here. Bugs Bunny. Now this one says DX10 Bugs Bunny, but I don't know if the DXT 10, I don't know if that's just a, some of these cars have just random manufacturing related information on the bottom, so I don't know if that's it. All right, this is 37 points. 37? Yeah, 37.6. So now it's up there with the Gemera as far as weight goes. And we will see. Take a closer look at this. This is one of those cool character cars. Now, this is one thing where Hot Wheels, I will say, they do a great job when they have a cartoon character or something and they need to integrate aspects of that character into a vehicle. So you see it's got the nose right at the grill. It's got the rabbit with the teeth. There's a little carrot down below. We have the ears, the little pink showing the ears up on the roof line. It's a good looking car. Now, as far as racing, when we look at the back end, that part where they made the little bunny tail and it's got that point at the end, that is not going to be helpful as far as giving this car consistent launches. Typically, we want a flat back end so that it can press right up against the launching block, and the more surface area pressed up against that launching block, the more consistent and stable the launches the car can get. But it's not always the case. We've seen cars like the Dogfighter, most notably, that have very pointed back ends but still perform well on the track. I believe there was also a Batmobile that had the 2 points on either side of the back of the car, and that got pretty consistent launches. So the rules it's not hard and fast rules, but it's just stuff that we kind of notice and see as trends, and cars that perform the best and most consistently tend to have certain things in common, but it's not always the case. It looks like a 57 Corvette. You know what? I see that. I do see that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, these sometimes they take the character card. They just take the regular base car and then just sprinkle a couple of things on there. But I think this definitely seems like it has clear kind of Corvette inspiration to it. Look at the front, little details. They even have like the orange under the headlights there, going back, and got the carrots right there. So yeah, this is a nice, good little representation. We'll see how it does on the track. This is the second Bugs Bunny car that we are, especially this whole aspect, that part right there, the sides, you're right, definitely Corvette vibes. And let me check the manufacturing year on this one. This is 2016. So we have our Bugs Bunny car. We have our the X-cceleron, the Dodge Viper SRT, the Porsche Taycan, the Koenigsegg Gemera, and this next car, I think we are going to have a bit of a showdown, because this car that I am about to pull up, I came across it in storage, and I know that we have one in the fleet, but I really like the way this one looks. So the car is this one. It is the Amazoom, and I am going to look at the one that is in the fleet. That is car number 574. So let's take a look at that one, 574, and see what it looks like. If it is the same. Oh, no, I just saw it. This one. So we have it in the fleet, but it does not look. This one looks better. It just straight up looks better. And what it says on the back: born 2008, birthplace El Segundo, California, designer Hot Wheels. With a ground effects package, race suspension, and a roll bar, this Brazilian race car was made to ride the narrow streets of the concrete jungle. So here is what we are going to do. This Amazoom is car number 574. And I am going to take that car out. And we are going to race these head to head. And if this one wins, then it will go into the fleet. If it loses, it's going into the prize bin. And again, I don't usually like to have duplicate cars, but I like this one so much better. And I really hope that it can make it into the fleet. Let's crack it open. Might as well take a look at it. This might be the last time we see it if it can't get the job done. What does it weigh? Weighs in at 39.9 grams. So we started off today with cars that were pretty light, and the last three have all been well over 35 grams. Let's switch over here, take a look at this one. This is the Amazoom, and I like the graphics. I like that that copper color paint with the metal flakes. It comes around. I like the wheels. I like the yellow accents on the wheels, how that matches up with the graphics on the car. That flat wing. We were just talking about the Bugs Bunny car having that point and wanting more surface area touching the launching block. This flat wing, perfect. That is just perfect. It's going to press right up against there and push this car out. Should get a good even launch. Now, front end. That is a lot of frontal area. That air is going to build up at the front of this car. And what happens after that point? I don't know. We're going to find out. But this is the Amazoom. So if this Amazoom can beat out the other Amazoom, which I'm going to have to go and pull, then we will have a new car entered into the fleet. If it can't win the race, then it becomes, unfortunately, sadly for me, it becomes a prize car. So we will see what exactly happens. All right, I'm going to go pull this car and then get Roughshod and Christopher's cars. We're going to take a look at those, and then we will be ready to hit the track. If anyone has just stumbled across this, you have a few more minutes left. Just go to AtTheTrack.live and select the Choose Your Car option. You will be taken to the page with all our cars listed. Find the car you want, pull it, and we will hit the track and see if you can beat out these other cars. But I am going to go pull that car. The bathroom break music's going to pop up, and I will be back in just a minute. so we have, I got the other Amazoom right here, and let's see what the weight is. Are the weights the same? So this Amazoom, the blue one, weighs in at 35.6 grams. The new one is 39.1. And part of that difference is that, I mean, actually, I think both of these cars could probably stay in the fleet regardless, because, let's go ahead and take a look. This is kind of the classic difference. The blue one is a plastic body on a metal base. The copper one is a metal body on a plastic base. So it's the same car, but made with different materials. So these are absolutely both going to stay, because that is a serious difference. Usually, the only difference between the cars when we have duplicates, the difference is usually the wheels. I don't have too many where they've changed the materials that they've used. So again, this blue one is a plastic body on a metal base, and it weighs about 3 grams less. This one is a metal body on a plastic base. So because this other Amazoom is different, we will race them head to head, because this is going to be an interesting experiment to see which car comes out on top and which material combination is comes out ahead. But let me first get this set up so we can get this video. And this is the Amazoom. Not to be, and I'll have to make some kind of note in the spreadsheet, the difference. So we'll go Amazoom. So with the other one, I'm going to call that, I'm going to put Amazoom, and then I'll put plastic on metal, POM, which will make this Amazoom a mop, a metal on plastic. And this is car number 1039. Yep, 1039. 1039. The Amazoom mop, not to be confused with the Amazon Palm. And here we go. Oh yeah, this is definitely going to be, we're definitely going to put this one in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, because I want to see how that air, it's clearly going to build up like right at the front, but whether or not it kind of then after it builds up at the front, once it comes up over the hood, then what happens? Is it going to just break away, or is it going to have pretty good solid airflow? Get in here. We are about ready. We're going to take a look at the roughshod and Christopher's picks, and then hit this track. And boom. The Amazoom. This is the Amazoom mop. Metal on plastic. Not to be confused with the Amazon Palm. Plastic on metal. Alright, so those cars. That car is in. We're going to have that race. Now, Christopher, he went with this Maserati. It says MC12. I don't know if that's the actual... Yeah, it probably is. The Maserati MC12. And let's go ahead and drop that 36.3 grams. is what it's weighing. And right here, this is it. Let's go ahead and give it that 360 view. I like the shape and style of this car. I think that it definitely has a lot of potential. It's wider at the back, gets a little more narrow at the front. It's got this little indentation here, which I'm sure on the real car there's an opening there so that airflow can go right along here and then exit out the back, but the Hot Wheels car doesn't have that. So we're going to have to wonder and see if we see anything odd with this car, like it starts to slow down towards the back end, then we'll have to reconsider some of the things that we've observed with regard to the design and potential of drag impacting this car. I like that wide, flat back end. That is good. We have, let's see. I don't really see. Yeah, there's not. I like this car. I like this car, and I like its chances. We had it in the wind tunnel, and I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that screamed to me, "Oh no, this is gonna be a problem." This seems to be a very solid pick, and I would not be surprised if we're looking at this car in the finals. This car and the X-cceleron. I'm curious to see both of these cars on the track. However, there is another contender because Roughshod came with not only an X-Racers car, which there have been multiple X-Racers cars. I think we've had 3: the Track Tune, the Draftnator, and the BlitzSpeeder. All X-Racers cars have done well. He picked one. It's weighing in at 35.1 grams, but it also has these faster than ever wheels. It is the Nerve Hammer, and this car is likely to be in the mix. And I would not be surprised if this car takes the tournament. Would not surprise me at all. And also wouldn't surprise me if this car could give the BlitzSpeeder a run for its money. There is a purple and gold version of the Nerve Hammer that's in the fleet. Students have picked that and like that car. But it doesn't have the faster than ever wheels. We had this car in the wind tunnel. Aerodynamic profile, really good. And we are going to find out very quickly, once we hit the track, if this Nerve Hammer has what it takes to potentially become our fastest in fleet car. We will find out. So we have the Nerve Hammer, we have the Maserati, we have the accelerator. What was that car called? The X-cceleron. The X-cceleron. We have the Dodge Viper SRT, the Porsche Taycan, the Koenigsegg Gemera, and the Bugs Bunny Corvette-inspired Roadster. So we are going to hit the track with these cars. But before we do, I'm just going to remind people, in case you just stumbled across this video and you click to race in the cars, what am I about to see? Here's what you're about to see. You're about to see our 3-camera racetrack view. The cars start off at the top of the screen on the left. I will give a countdown, 3, 2, 1, race. I will hit the switch. The cars will come firing out of the launcher. They will go from top to bottom on your screen. They will show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They will go from top to bottom, passing out of the bottom of the screen in the middle, showing up at the top of the screen on the far right, our finish line camera. The cars will go from top to bottom. They will cross the finish line, and the car that crosses the finish line first will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light will indicate the winning car. A flashing red light will indicate the losing car. And the races are best 2 out of 3. At the end of the first race, the cars will switch lanes, go again. The winning car will be indicated with the solid red light, and then that car, the first car to win 2 races, will move on in the tournament. If a car crashes and leaves the track, no problem. We simply restart the race. And if the same car crashes twice consecutively, leaving the track, that car is disqualified, because a car that crashes twice consecutively and leaves the track suggests that there's a problem with that car that isn't going to be solved by just relaunching the car and restarting the race. However, if a car crashes but does not leave the track, so the car crashes, flips upside down, it is still in the it's still in the race. You just lost. So if your car flips upside down and it is sliding on the track, unfortunately, it's just lost. Oh, I just saw this as I was getting ready, that we have one more car that is going to be dropped in. Never ending. He typically has, his work schedule changed, so he can't join us live, but he has made a selection. Car number 334. So let's go ahead and see which car that is. 334. That will be on page 2. Car 334 is the Muscle Speeder. So he's going with the Muscle Speeder, car 334. Let me just grab that. 334. 334. Here we go. Okay, car 334, the Muscle Speeder. Take a quick look at that one and see what it's got. Definitely an interesting pick. I like the styling. I like how it starts off a little wider and then kind of gets narrow towards the back end. That's a good design kind of profile. It's not too wide. It's wider at the back than it is in the front, a little bit like the Maserati. So there's not a lot going on up top to really disrupt that airflow. Not really a big front end, so that air should, in all likelihood with this car, with that design, the air is probably going to be pushed. A lot of the air is going to be pushed underneath, but good solid pick. And we will take this car with us over to the track, and that is where we are headed. We have lots of cars, should have some good races, and I will see you over at the track in 30 seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead and double check this audio. And 1 2 1 2, audio is good. We are ready to go. And we have some pretty interesting races here. Let's see. We've got the Koenigsegg, we've got the Porsche, we've got the X-cceleron, we've got the Dodge Viper, we've got a Nerve Hammer, Maserati, Bugs Bunny, and the BlitzSpeeder. We've got these two Amazoom cars, which are very interesting. All of those are going to be trying to see if they can take out the BlitzSpeeder. Hang on, let me make... I've got one little adjustment I need to make here to set up. And there we go. All right. I think we're going to start off because I need to find out about the mop versus the palm. So metal on plastic versus plastic on metal. Which one is going to come out on top? The plastic on metal car is lighter. That is the plastic Amazoom. The metal on plastic, the mop, is heavier. And we're going to see all things are equal other than the materials these cars are made from. So, the weight is different, but the actual design is very similar. It reminds me of a bit of when we raced the cars, those bootleg Hot Wheels cars that I picked up in Costa Rica versus the actual Hot Wheels cars. The designs were exactly the same, but it was the materials. However, the knockoff cars, all the materials were cheap. With these are standard Hot Wheels wheels, and everything is similar. It's just different materials. But we're going to see. So we've got the mop, metal on plastic, in lane 2. And we've got the palm, the plastic on metal, in lane 1. So here we go. Race number 1, mop versus palm. Three, two, one, race. Race 1, the mop takes it. Metal on plastic. But that is just one race. We are going to switch lanes and see if we get a different outcome. I'm thinking that, let me see. Try to make sure this is straight, adjust that. That little adjustment. We're going to put the palm is going to be in lane 2, and the mop is going to be in lane 1. And is that weight? I would have thought that, well, the weight was only a difference of about 3 grams, but that outcome in that last race was pretty significant with the heavier car, the metal on plastic car, just pulling away. Again, aerodynamics are exactly the same. The only difference is the weight. So we had, and the materials that contribute to the weight. So we've got the metal on plastic, the mop, in lane 1, and the palm, the plastic on metal, in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Wow. So the palm started off in the lead, and then about halfway through, the palm started to lose ground, and the mop took off, passed it at about the halfway point, and opened up that lead. You can see from the solid red light, it's mop all day, metal on plastic. So we have a situation where the lighter car was not the car that won, and we have to start to think about why that is and how drag is impacting these cars. We know that with lighter cars, drag tends to impact them. Not that this car is light. The plastic on metal car, it was not light, it was just lighter. And so we saw that it started to slow down. And there's only really a couple of reasons why a car would slow down midway through the track. And one of those big things is drag. So we're going to put these cars in the wind tunnel on Wednesday. But for now, the mop Amazoom is moving on. All right. Let's go with, we're going to go Bugs Bunny versus Never Ending's Muscle Speeder. So, see how that all plays out and works out. And get this thing locked in. And we'll put the Muscle Speeder in lane 1. I'm glad I scrolled back in the chat and got his pick in there. And Bugs Bunny in lane 2. So Bugs Bunny lane 2, Muscle Speeder lane 1, race number 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Muscle Speeder by a lot. However, I will say at the back end, so the Muscle Speeder had a huge lead, and towards that back end, the Bugs Bunny car started closing the gap, which significantly, which suggests that the Muscle Speeder was slowing down. And it had a big enough lead that didn't matter, but if it keeps that up against some of our faster cars, say it makes it to the fastest in fleet race against the BlitzSpeeder, that kind of thing probably isn't going to work in your favor. But it worked out right now, and this car is up 1 race to none. We are putting the Muscle Speeder in lane 2 and the Bugs Bunny car in lane 1. There we go. Race number 2. Here we go. Bugs Bunny lane 1, Muscle Speeder lane 2. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, the Muscle Speeder just opened up and did not take its foot off the gas at all whatsoever. So that is a serious contender for today's title, unless of course that Bugs Bunny car is really slow, which would then make the Muscle Speeder look extremely fast. But I have a feeling this Muscle Speeder is probably pretty quick. I don't know. Never Ending, he's got a good eye for that. Just pulling those cars out. That he's had some really good performances with those. Let's go with the let's take this Maserati and this Gemera, the Matchbox Koenigsegg 2021 Gemera, 2 high-end supercars, this Maserati and the Koenigsegg. We're going to see which of these two is super enough to make it into the next round. The Maserati is going to be lined up in lane number 2. This was Christopher's pick. The Koenigsegg in lane 1. And we are lined up. This Koenigsegg, good looking car, but it's a Matchbox and it's a little heavy. I don't think it's all that, it's not that much heavier than the Maserati, but we're going to see how this plays out. Koenigsegg lane 1 and the Maserati lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Maserati took it. The Koenigsegg, nothing to be ashamed of. That was a good, solid performance. I'm reminded again that the Matchbox cars have these little ridges on the wheels, and when they go down the track, they make this little buzzing sound that's kind of cool. But cool sounds and cool looks are not what's important. What's important is crossing that finish line first, and the Maserati just did it. So if the Maserati can do it again, it will be moving on. If it can't, then we will go to a third and final race. Koenigsegg Gemera in lane 2. The Maserati, I think it's the MC12, in lane 1. Race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Whew. That race was much closer. I had to look at the finish lights to see which car came out on top, and it was the Maserati. So the Koenigsegg, even though it's a Matchbox car, did pretty well, and it was competitive. We see a lot of times these Matchbox cars absolutely just get blown out of the water, and that's not what we want to see. That's not what anybody wants to see. We want good, solid, competitive races, and it's kind of what we got just right there. But the results are what the results are, and the Maserati is moving on with the Amazoom, with the muscle speeder. Let's go now. Let's go Nerve Hammer versus the Nerve Hammer versus the Porsche, the Taycan. So Roughshod picked the Nerve Hammer. We have multiple Nerve Hammers in the fleet, but this one is the one with the faster than ever wheels. The faster than ever wheels are the ones with the nickel plated axle, which allow the wheels to spin with less friction, more freely and faster, and that should work in its favor. So we will see. We've got the Nerve Hammer in lane 1. We've got the Porsche Taycan in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, faster than ever did not help. The Porsche came out, took that race, and I'm gonna have to wonder. Granted, it was just one race, but when we put this car in the wind tunnel, are we gonna have another case of a Porsche with an extremely good aerodynamic profile? Because that's what we saw with the last one. That it was the one with that really long name that Roughshod picked, and we put that in the wind tunnel, and the aerodynamic profile was just very impressive. But that was that was like a station wagon Porsche, and this one is not. It is still a four-door car, but more of a sedan. But the aerodynamic profile may be just as good. All right, we're going to hit this second race. We've got the Porsche in lane 1 and the Nerve Hammer in lane 2. Nerve Hammer needs to take this to force a third race. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh. It was close. It was very close. And then the Nerve Hammer started giving up some ground at the last third of the track. And the Porsche just moved ahead slightly and took that race. I want to think that it has to do with the aerodynamics. We will check that out in the wind tunnel on Wednesday. But for now, the Porsche is moving on, and we are down to 2 more cars, the X-cceleron, which is the very interesting kind of fantasy future hypercar against the Dodge Viper SRT. I picked the X-cceleron specifically because I looked at it and thought this car can compete. It is wide. It has some very interesting features to it. The Dodge, the Viper, is just a straight up cool little muscle car. And we're going to see if it can take this race. Here we go. We've got the Viper in lane 2. We've got the X-cceleron in lane 1, race 1. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The X-cceleron was in the lead for about the first half of the race, and then it just started to slow down. The Viper kept right on and passed it, and the Viper took that race. I don't know. These cars, when they start off well, and then they just start to slow down, that's drag. That is what that is. Let's see. We're gonna switch lanes. You know, friction is also there's friction, but the kind of friction that makes cars slow down on our track dramatically is not just sort of standard friction of the wheels rubbing against the track. That creates friction. But when cars get bad launches and bounce from side to side and rub up against the sides of the track as they kind of bounce back and forth all the way down, that's the kind of friction that slows these cars down dramatically. That's not what we saw. We're just seeing cars get towards the back end of the track and start to slow down. That is, that's drag getting to these cars. You got to have an excellent aerodynamic profile if you want to be considered one of the greats on our track. So here we go. Race number 2. We've got the Dodge Viper in lane 1. We've got the X-cceleron in lane 2. Race 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. We saw the exact same thing. The X-cceleron had the lead for about the first half of the track. Then it started to slow down. The Viper came through, maintained more of its speed, and passed it, which suggests that the Viper is able to reduce the impact of drag based on its aerodynamic profile more so than the X-cceleron. And we asked the question about the X-cceleron with the little openings it had. What was going to happen? Was the air going to get trapped in there? Was it going to be able to flow over? So if with the Viper, there are no openings. Now, granted, the windows are down, so there's an opening there, so air can flow into the cabin. But in general, if a car doesn't have little things sticking up and engine block popping up out of the top of the hood or something like that, there's nothing to really impede the airflow, and that's what we want to see. With that X-cceleron, I don't know. There were just two. We're going to put it in the wind tunnel on Wednesday and see what we can see, but it just slowed down. Definitely slowed down twice in a row. Middle of the track, slowed down, got beaten. All right, we are down to. We've got the Maserati, the BlitzSpeeder, the Amazoom, the Porsche, and the Viper. So let's go ahead and just looking at these, let's go Maserati and BlitzSpeeder and see which of these cars comes out on top. This is Christopher's pick. This is Neverending's pick. We have the BlitzSpeeder in lane 1. We have the Maserati in lane 2. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. So in that one, the BlitzSpeeder slowed down towards the back end, and the Maserati kept up its speed and beat it. We mentioned that in that first race with the BlitzSpeeder, that it definitely slowed down because that Bugs Bunny car gained some ground toward the back end of the track. And I said it at the time that that's fine against some cars in the early stages, but when you start getting into races against faster cars, you can't afford that kind of slowdown at the back end. And that is exactly what we saw and exactly what did in the BlitzSpeeder. But that is just one race. You have to win 2 races. You have to confirm that you're a winner on our track. 1 race can be a fluke. 2 races shows you're the real deal. And let me get this Maserati locked in here. All right, the Maserati is now in lane 1. The Muscle Speeder's in lane 2. Race number 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Exact same thing. The Muscle Speeder got out to a lead. Halfway down the track, it started to give up that ground. It started to lose some steam, some speed, and the Maserati kept moving and beat it out. So it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the Maserati has come through when taking advantage of the Muscle Speeder slowing down. The Muscle Speeder, I forget what the weight was, but it feels light. Even though it's a metal on plastic car, it just feels light. And maybe there's a theme there. So I'll need to check the weight again to see if, maybe it is the lighter cars. We do say that there is a sweet spot between about 32 grams and 36 grams. I don't remember where the Muscle Speeder came in, but weight may have played a role. All right, let's go with the we're gonna go with the Porsche and the Viper. The Viper is coming. All right, let's see. We have this Porsche that has had a great performance in that first round when it was able to take out, which car did it beat? The Nerve Hammer. When it beat the Nerve Hammer, that was a very interesting performance. Apparently it seems to have a great aerodynamic profile. We'll see if that holds up. The Porsche is in lane 2. The Dodge Viper is in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. That Porsche seems quick, and it took that race with ease, complete, total, utter, absolute ease. And we will see if it can do the same thing again once we switch lanes, get these cars set up. We are down to 4 cars, soon to be 3. The Porsche is in lane 1. The Viper is in lane 2. Let's get it in here just right. Yeah, there we go. The Viper's in lane 2, Porsche in lane 1. Race number 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Race was very close, but the lights don't lie. Solid red light indicates the winning car is the Porsche, and that car will be moving on to the finals. It is just a matter of which car is it going to be taking on. Is it going to be facing the Maserati, or will it be facing the Amazoom mop, the metal on plastic? We're going to find out. We are about to line those cars up right now. We've got the Amazoom, we've got the Maserati. Both of these cars had impressive performances so far, although the Amazoom was more of a science experiment because it just took on its identical twin made from different materials. But now it's going up against this Maserati. We have the Maserati in lane 2. We have the Amazoom in lane 1. Race number 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. We will be restarting that race because the Amazoom decided to crash and hit the barrier right at the front of the track. I would not be surprised if it took a little bit of paint off of the bumper, but we will reset because we know that was just a quirk. That happens sometimes. The cars come out weird launches and crash, but we know that the Amazoom can make it down the track, so we're not going to go out on a disqualification. We just know that sometimes weird things happen. Get these cars set up again. The Amazoom mop, metal on plastic, metal body on a plastic base, is in lane 1, and we have the Maserati in lane number 2. Race 1 restart. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Amazoom stays on the track, stays on course, stays on point, and takes that race. That is race number 1. We are going to switch lanes and see if the Maserati can force a third race. That win by the Amazoom was pretty definitive, pretty clear, but you never know. It is always a matter of what was there something that happened? Was the launch off? Was there I don't know, did the car bounce to the side? Was there anything that was off? That's why we always want to go best 2 out of 3 and change lanes so that, fluke things can happen, but they're unlikely to keep happening. If they keep happening, they're not flukes. It's just what happened. All right, so we switched lanes, and we have the Maserati in lane 1, the Amazoom mop in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Oh, look at the Amazoom coming back, bouncing all the way back to the first portion of the track. The Amazoom took that race. It was much closer, much closer, but in the end, it was the Amazoom that beat out the Maserati, and it is the Amazoom that will be facing the Porsche in the finals. So we have the Amazoom mop, metal on plastic, versus the Porsche, what was this? Porsche Taycan Turbo S. So let's see what each of these cars has got. Best foot forward time. Time to represent. Time to take this race and then get ready to take out the BlitzSpeeder. All right, we've got the Porsche in lane 1. We've got the Amazoom in lane 2. Race 1. This is the finals. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Amazoom. Room-a-zoom zoom. Here we go. The Amazoom takes that race. It was a close race, a good race. I like those good, close, competitive races. And I know it's one when I have to look at the lights on the finish line to see which car won. I can't just tell from looking at my vantage point. So that is one race for the Amazoom. And we are going to line these up here and see let's see. I don't remember which side. I think we're putting the Porsche in lane 1 now and the Amazoom in lane 2. I almost feel like yeah, I think that's right. Either way, here we go. Porsche, yeah, the Porsche is in lane 1. Amazoom is in lane 2. And this is race number 2. Finals matchup. If the Amazoom takes it, it's our winner. If the Porsche wins, we are going to a third and final race. Here we go. Amazoom lane 2, Porsche lane 1. 3, 2, 1, race. Amazoom crashes again. That's the second time that it has crashed. It crashed, flipped up, landed in the opposite lane. We will just reset these cars. And kind of interesting. It's rare that we have a car that consistently makes it down the track also crash. And crashing in both lanes, out of both lanes, is a new twist, but it doesn't matter because we're not going out on a disqualification in the finals. We are running this race, and we've got the Porsche line back up in lane 1, Amazoom lane 2, race number 2. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Amazoom. Here we go. Amazoom. I almost didn't put it in the fleet. I opened it up. Turns out it was significantly different than the other Amazoom that we already had. And now here we are with the Amazoom as today's champion. And now we're going to find out. We know it's faster than the other cars that were racing today. Now we're going to find out how fast it really is, because it is going to go up against our fastest in-fleet champion, the BlitzSpeeder. And the BlitzSpeeder, if you've been watching any point over the last year and a half, you've probably seen the BlitzSpeeder and know about this car. The reputation of the BlitzSpeeder is well known. Easily the fastest car that consistently that we've had on our track. It is a 4-time champion. It is here. It is in lane 1. It is facing the Amazoom in lane 2. Race number 1 for the fastest in fleet title. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Ooh. The BlitzSpeeder took that race, no doubt, but it wasn't a blowout. We've been seeing the BlitzSpeeder in recent weeks just kind of destroy cars to the point where it wasn't even kind of close. That was very close, especially for a BlitzSpeeder race. But at the bottom line is the BlitzSpeeder didn't win. The BlitzSpeeder won. So, as they say, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. And this is Hot Wheels racing, and we get a real winner every single time. BlitzSpeeder is now set up in lane 2. Amazoom has its work cut out for it. It is in lane 1. Amazoom is going to have to take 2 races in a row from the BlitzSpeeder. 2 races from the BlitzSpeeder. I don't even remember the last time a car took 1 race from the BlitzSpeeder. But here we go. Amazoom in lane 1, BlitzSpeeder in lane 2, race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. The Amazoom is interesting because it was closing the gap on the BlitzSpeeder at the end, and that's something that we usually don't see. Problem is, by the time it started to make that move, it was already too far behind to catch up, and the end of the track arrived, and once again, the BlitzSpeeder is our fastest in-fleet champion. I'm going to gather up these cars, head back in the garage, and we'll take a look at the winners, the losers, and what's coming up next. So once again, the BlitzSpeeder endures. It is our fastest in fleet champion. It is, it won today, but the win was definitely not as dominant as we've seen the BlitzSpeeder be in the past. It had a serious, legitimate challenge from the Amazoom, but the Amazoom just couldn't get past the BlitzSpeeder's ridiculous speed and almost perfect aerodynamic profile. It did, surprisingly, it did close the gap toward the back end, but the BlitzSpeeder it really takes a very unique car to beat the BlitzSpeeder. When the BlitzSpeeder has been beaten, I think other than against, I think there was maybe one race, either probably with the Gazella R, possibly. But when the BlitzSpeeder is beaten, it gets beaten. It's not like it goes to 3 races and it was kind of close. The BlitzSpeeder, when it's been beaten, has just been beaten flat out. Like the Dogfighter destroyed the BlitzSpeeder. That Mercedes, I don't think that went to a 3rd race either. I think it was 2-0. So when there's a car that can beat the BlitzSpeeder, those cars just beat it flat out. It's not a back and forth 3-race classic. Now this car, the Amazoom Mop, metal on plastic. Very interesting car. It was very fast and won today's tournament and gave the BlitzSpeeder a competitive race. And that's saying a lot. It didn't win, of course, but it gave it a competitive race. And it will be interesting to get this car into the wind tunnel and see how what its aerodynamic profile is now that we've seen it on the track. I think that part of the things that we're going to notice is that this splitter, being so low to the surface, is going to force a lot of that air up over the top of the car. And then we'll be able to see what happens with the air as it moves from the hood to the windshield to the roof. And right here, it usually breaks away. But I have a feeling that we might see the air come off this roof and then make it all the way across over to interact with this elevated wing that's right at the roof line. And also, the Amazoom had this flat wing which pressed right up perfectly against the launching block. And we've seen cars with wings right at the roof line do pretty well. So there's just things that you notice. And you start to kind of, after so many races, you got to start to put some of those things together and say, you know what, I think this factor, and this factor all result in a good car for the track. Either way, we're going to put this in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, and we will see how it performs. We now have 1,040 cars in the fleet, and we are just going to continue to add to that number week in and week out. There is always a Hot Wheels car to be found, always a Hot Wheels car to race, and we are going to bring the cars to our track. We have the fastest Hot Wheels races that I've seen online, and I'm going to go to some of these other channels. I found 2 channels for Hot Wheels racing last night, and I'm going to go and contact the people at those channels and ask them what their fastest car is. I'm going to take their fastest car, bring it to our track, and see if it can hold up. I think the cars that do best on the gravity track are not going to be the cars that do best on our track, but we're going to find out. I'm always in search of the fastest Hot Wheels car out there, and right now the fastest Hot Wheels car out there is the BlitzSpeeder, and until we find some car to beat it, it is our champion. So of course, you can go to AtTheTrack.live, go to the choose your car option, find a car, look through all the cars that we have, and try to find the car that you think can beat the BlitzSpeeder. Take that number or the name of the car, send me a DM, drop it in the chat. I will pull that car, And on Wednesday, we have Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. So at 4 p.m. Pacific on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch, we put the cars into the Windsable. Check out the aerodynamic profiles. Get an idea about how we think those cars are going to perform on the track based on what we've seen. So there is Wind Tunnel Wednesdays. And of course, every Saturday, we're going to be here, 11 a.m. Pacific, racing Hot Wheels cars, reviewing Hot Wheels cars, having some fun. If you want more information about our science program, which is the main reason all of this exists, all about aerodynamics, all you have to do is go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, or follow us on Instagram, aaerodynamics. All the information that you need is there. It is in the bio, and we can talk about how to bring our program to your school, organization, or special event. So, for All About Aerodynamics, for Wind Tunnel Wednesday, and for At the Track Live, I am Coach James, and until next time, I will see you at the races.